give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Stand by with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, we'll check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 start, take your shots.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, might just zero something, let me know. 10-5.
I'll never. Feeding the ducks will never get old. It'll never get old. I want to screen share this real quick. This is all we know, and then we know a little bit more. And hopefully, we're going to learn even more as we dig into it. Thank you all for hopping in. Appreciate you very much. Now, just as a heads up, this episode and the things that we discussed today are going to be traumatic, just based off of the injuries, the things that took place, and especially with what law enforcement initially thought had taken place when it comes to her injuries. We're going to go through, there was a Nancy Grace episode a couple days ago. We're going to be going through that. And then I got a bunch of local news clips over the years, because it has been 11 years now. I got some different news clips that we're going to go over throughout the years. And there's a YouTube channel, Justice for Amber, and they put together a really it was a beautiful memorial video, and we're going to check that out first before we get into the show. But I do want to say thank you all for hopping in. What's up, Commercial Zone? Shout out to you. Appreciate you so much. All the work, y'all. Idaho 4, she's done an amazing amount of work for the Idaho 4 case. I got to talk to you, Commercial. There's been some updates with some of the work that I did out there in Moscow is possibly going to be used. So I gotta catch up with you. Let you know what's up. Busby, thank you. Good morning. Appreciate you. And Jennifer, thank you so much. And yes, that's what it is. There's not bashing over here. There's not shit talking. There's not even misinformation without any receipts, because there's a lot of stuff being said. No receipts. No receipts whatsoever. It's the misinfo sheep and the hot dog steaks, y'all. The no receipts misinfo sheep. So that's what it is. But that's what we offer you here, is nothing but factual information. Now, do we put out factual information? Look, if you say the words, and you really feel a certain way about individuals, well, they should know. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for the kind words. Caddy number 11. Hello. Look at that. You always got cool icon photos. You always got cool ones. I know nothing about this case. Yes. The facts with receipts, baby. Jennifer P. Good morning to you. Baby Angel, I'm getting notification she's running around in the living room right now. So I don't know what she's doing, but I'm getting notification she is running around in the living room. So who knows? Baby. Maybe she'll come up and say, I don't know. This whole place is her jungle gym. April ticket 14. Thank you all. What's up, Synergy number 8? Pleasure meeting you this weekend. Thank you so much for your dedication to the cause as well. Let me see. That's right. Always been consistent with presenting facts, not fiction. Because we give you receipts. What's up, Valerie? What's up? Yes, trigger warning. Trigger warning. Just as a heads up. Jamie McGregor or Gregory, if we do have any, if there are certain parts, you'll see up there, up in that corner, you'll see one of these pop up, and that means, just hit the mute. You can always chat with people. But this is a little way for you to know when you can mute and unmute, if you possibly do get triggered from some of this. So always look in that top left, top right corner there, and that will be unmute. So it's my little way of trying to help out. And then you guys don't even have to. You can still hang out with the community. What's up, Mary? Thank you for hopping in. Oh, thank you so much, Valerie. Baby! Trying to call her over here. Oh, it's all good, Busby. All right. So, like I said, we are there's this really cool video, this Justice for Amber YouTube channel. So I'm going to share the channel. I'll share the link to the video as always. If you are part of the community, I just suggest making a playlist from the Evil CJ, and that way you can save all these links and keep them for yourself and use them for your own content or whatever, just to highlight, the awareness and the attention. What's up, Rita? Just to highlight the awareness and attention. All right, so I'm going to share the channel with you first. It's Justice for Amber. It's only got 17 subs. It's crazy. We are going to be having a Micah show tonight. We're going to be going through a lot of stuff, and the Fitz News interview with Reverend Millie Joy. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Standing up for all the people. She's going to be discussing harassment, group harassment, group bullying, the whole, basically just breaking it all down, and validating what is going on out there. You guys see it out here on YouTube. I'm not in TikTok, but you see it on TikTok a lot. There's a lot of bashing. There's a lot of, shit talking. There's a lot of people grouping up together, 3 to 10 people, depending on the situation, grouping up together to create narratives and misinformation. And then, unfortunately, attaching Micah's name to it as the backdrop. And I just really feel bad for the families, that the families have to, they don't have to go click on it, but there's going to be people sending them links and stuff like that. And so the fact that they even have to see some of this rhetoric going on, it's just unfortunate. You really feel for the families, and we're part of it. We've been a part of the bashing for a long time with different people as different months come by. There's, but when you're out there doing the right thing, going about it the right way, being about the justice, not only for Micah, but for all the victims of these horrific crimes, and also to be there for the family. The family called out a hot dog steak a couple weeks ago, and that is justice for Micah. It is. And that's what we do too. We call out the hot dog steaks, the plastic figures, because that is justice for these victims' families and communities. And we just present facts. We don't talk shit. We don't make up nothing. And you see the difference in the coverage that you get here compared to the coverage that you get over there with any of these cases. So I want to say shout out to the community. Thank you so much. Y'all are amazing, beautiful people. The love and support that I've been getting is just absolutely amazing. And I couldn't thank you all more, because really, when I say that I couldn't do it without you, I really couldn't. And that comes being there. And that also comes with me being able to get there. YouTube don't pay shit. You saw Mr. Glitch, try to put that out there like I'm getting paid from certain people. No, I get my contributions from the community. And it's because of you. That's why whenever you hear me tell you that I couldn't do it without you, it is a team effort. I really mean it because I really do. It means everything from the bottom of my heart. It really does. Thank you. All right, so we're going to get into this. It is disgusting, Jamie. It is. It's very disgusting. And the fact that they're attaching a victim's name to it as the backdrop for their narratives and their shenanigans and their antics, it's really unfortunate because the families do come across that stuff, you know? And that's one thing when it comes to this community. It's always about the victims, the families, and the communities. We always think about them first. That's why you can go through our content and you'll never find anything other than being about the victims, families, and communities. So, really, appreciate your love because it means everything. All right. We're going to get into this Justice for Amber video here. It is a beautiful video. It's compiled with local news clips and photos and all of these things. And it's just a beautiful video. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Again, here's the channel, Justice for Amber. If you do have any information, because even though we do turn stuff over to agencies, we're not the go-to. And if you do have any information, the information below right there, 1-888-CRIME-SE 274-6372 or justiceforamber.org. Thank you all for hopping in. Appreciate you. And let's check out this amazing video. It's beautiful. Get yourself a tissue because you might need it. All right, I'm going to pause that real quick and I'm going to read it to you guys. So, this was published on May 4th, 2013. Now, I do have real footage for you guys if you haven't seen it yet, and I haven't uploaded it all, but I'm going to show you guys the GoPro, the clarity, the HD. I'm going to show you all the different things on top of this, but we're going to get into my footage later. We're going to get into the story first, but I do want to show one thing from the footage before we do get going into the story. I want to show you I want to show you how I think this person got away with the crime before we get into the story, because I think it's very important to understand the layout first before we get into it. Beautiful video right here. All right, so it says published Saturday, May 4th, 2013, North Myrtle Beach. Investigators are trying to figure out how a woman ended up under a bridge in North Myrtle Beach with a fatal head wound. Authorities say they are investigating the passing of 23-year-old Amber Berbiglia as a homicide. Berbiglia's body was found around 4:30 p.m. Friday under a bridge on the Robert Edge Parkway, a major road in North Myrtle Beach. Investigators are hoping anyone who saw a woman or anyone else near the bridge on the busy road to call police. And yes, it is a busy road, people. I was there. We ended the stream, and I was there at the time, 4:30 on a weekday. I'm sorry. It's busy. To sit there and say nobody heard a thing or saw a thing, you're out of your mind. Especially with her injuries. Somebody heard something. And just wait until I show you the layout with the footage. Authorities first thought Berbiglia was shot, but an autopsy determined that wasn't the case. They would not say how she passed. They don't know. So when the investigators first showed up, they thought that she was a victim of a gunshot wound. But as they did the autopsy, they saw no. This was from some sort of object. A fist wouldn't be able to inflict those injuries to make somebody appear that they were shot in the face. There was some sort of object. Had to be. Now, when I looked around there, now this was 11 years later, but when I did look around there wasn't rocks and things like that. There wasn't. Now, it's 11 years later. But you can see, I don't think there's been much done in that area for the last 11 years, and I'll show you why. You'll see it in the footage. And here's the link for this video if you'd like to keep it for yourself. All right. Now it says, born on July 16th, 1989, in Poughkeepsie, New York, she was the daughter of Peter and Michelle. Other than her parents, Amber is survived by her sister, Amanda, brother Jeremy, and stepbrothers. Chris and Philip are the maternal grandparents. Ronald and Virginia, she is preceded by her paternal grandparents. Funeral services were held on Tuesday, May 7th in Lee Funeral Home Chapel in Little River. A message of condolence may be sent to a specific address. Lee Funeral Home and Crematory of Little River / North Myrtle Beach.
She was a butterfly. She was sweet, little angel.
Amber is a vivacious, vibrant personality. She was sunshine.
Amber was such a beautiful young lady. She was adored by everyone.
Berbiglia told her she was finishing finals that week, getting ready to open a business with her fiancé.
They fell passionately in love, and it was a fairy tale romance that ended too soon.
She's going to be getting married in a month or so. And now, she's not going to have that.
Now keep that in mind as we go through the information and look at the area, okay? Because I'm going to show you the difference. Look at the area. I'm going to show you there's not much difference. Not much at all. Now keep that in mind, though. When we're listening to this story, she was about to get married in a month. When we get into the case and we listen to the facts, to me, she knew the person. To me, the person was probably a friend zone, or the person just didn't have enough courage to say anything. And then they waited too long. Basically, she knew the person. This is my opinion. She knew the person. There became a boiling point with this person, and they committed this crime. Now, there's either there's a specific reason for this area, whether it's somebody around there, somebody by there, or it was planned out at this spot for the getaway. The person didn't take the vehicle. They didn't take her keys. The car was still running. It happened within a 30-minute time period. The purse was there. The cash, the bank cards were there. They didn't even take the car. So either they knew someone around there, or they picked this specific spot because I'm going to show you how I think the person got away with nobody even noticing who committed the crime. Keep an eye on this area right here.
I talked to the bridal store, and I had to cancel her bridal dress.
Oh.
My daughter's getting married in 2 weeks, and she's not going to be there. And whoever...
Wow, she had to cancel the dress. Oh my gosh.
Did this, they need to come forward. If there's anybody out there that
No, she did not. She didn't stop for anybody. She didn't stop for anybody. She picked up someone shortly before this crime was committed. The person that she picked up, I believe, is the person that committed this crime. That's the person that committed this crime, in my opinion. And I'm going to show you how I think they got away.
month or so, now she's not gonna have that. I talked to the bridal store and I had to cancel her bridal dress. My daughter's getting married in 2 weeks and she's not gonna be there. And whoever did this, they need to come forward. If there's anybody out there that has any idea of who did this, please call the police.
Richie remembers her favorite memory of Amber Berbiglia, a night she sang karaoke.
I was in awe. I would never have the guts to get up and do something like that, but that was Amber. I mean, she didn't care what anybody thought. She was Amber.
All right, and I have to mute it just because of copyright reasons. Great pictures. I came across this video and I was like, man, this is a what a great video. All the photos and stuff like that. Now we're going to be going more into the local news clips later on in the show. We can go into them first. Then we'll go ahead and watch the Nancy Grace after. I'm going to show you the footage though. Just a little bit. Then we'll go through the rest at the end. So many pictures though. She was about to get married, about to move to London. She was even going to leave the country. She studied for 2 years over in Europe. She met her fiance over there. They got engaged. She came back to finish school here. And then her plans were to move to London after she graduated to get married and start a life. Very sad. All right, we'll check out some local news clips here first. Then I'm going to show you just a couple short clips of some footage, and then we're going to get in to the story. All right, so let's see here. We'll get into some local news clips here real quick.
In 2013 remains unsolved, but her mother still has hope. Back in 2013, 23-year-old Amber Berbiglia was found dead under Robert Edge Parkway with blunt force trauma to the head. Her mother describes her as someone who was always happy and lit up the room, and she doesn't understand why someone would want to do such a thing to her daughter. Now, 2 years later, Michelle Robinson is still looking for answers and doesn't want her daughter's murder to go unsolved.
I feel like my life, I have to go on in memory of Amber. Last year, I had said that I wanted to celebrate her life, but I haven't been able to do that. I've been mourning. Not a day doesn't go by that tears come to my eyes because I miss her.
Police say they've exhausted all leads, but if you know anything at all, contact the Horry County Police Department. And to learn more about the case of Amber Berbiglia and to find out how you can help, visit www.justiceforamberberbiglia.org.
They have no idea what weapon, no weapon was found. As far as we know, nothing was left from the person that committed the crime. No signs. No answers 11 years later.
I just can't go down to the site anymore. It's like it's not a good place to remember. It's where the tragedy happened, and the way they found her outside of the car with the car running. Whatever is happening as far as the police, they are not investigating. They did put it in cold cases, and they're leaving it. I have asked several times, please have another set of eyes looking at it. They have not answered my questions.
They're not saying anything. There's no information being put out there. They have no idea. They've already moved it to the cold case. This was from 8 years ago. So after a couple years, they just moved it into the cold case file. And she just wants another set of eyes on it, you know?
What DNA was sent off? They're saying that she might have picked someone up. I don't believe that.
She doesn't believe that. That's interesting. She doesn't believe that. Now, I think she did. They're saying there was a shadow. Listen, when we get into the interview, they're going to talk more about how somebody was picked up. This was 8 years ago. Now, she has seen the video, according to the latest interview from just a week ago. She has seen the video that has not been released to the public. And maybe that was the difference.
That she might have picked someone up. I don't believe that. Wish I had more money because I feel someone knows something. And if the reward was higher, someone would talk. You know, it's hard without answers and no closure. It's hard for any death, but a murder is especially hard on me because I need to know what was she doing. She was in the mud, but she had a great personality. She smiled all the time. She had a great attitude. She would bring in the light, even always be, what happened? What happened? I laid here on the couch for almost a year. I didn't care about anything.
We've already reached out. Trust me.
I really thought.
I'm going to try and find. Listen, 11 years is too damn long. 11 years is too damn long. That's why when I first heard about it, when I was out there already, I said, hey, I need to go. I need to be there. I need to go to the spots. I need to drive the route. I need to feel it. I need to feel it. I need to and trust me, when we get to my footage, you're going to be like, how in the F does nobody not know anything? It doesn't it don't make sense.
Suicide just to be with our
Don't make sense.
Thoughts. People grieve in different ways, but I took it really hard. So I've got to move forward and know that
the fiance was not a suspect. He was in London. When we get into the facts and we get into the case, I think that, and I don't even think it was somebody that chilled at a bar, because Amber worked at Greg Norman's Australian Grill. I don't think it was somebody that even like maybe stalked her by sitting at the bar at a table, ordering water for 4 hours just to have her as a server. I think this person, and this is just in the beginning, I think this person probably went to school with Amber. I think this person probably went to school with Amber. I wonder, and I would like to get into the records of the university. I would like to see who didn't show up for a week or two, who changed classes, who maybe dropped out, a pattern that led up to a change when this horrific event took place. I really feel that she went to school with this person. I really feel that this person was in her class. I really feel that to other people that were in this class, the interest in Amber from this person was obvious to other people that were there in the class. They probably thought this person, man, he's a little weird. He's kind of odd. All of that conversation before. Amber, he's kind of weird. Yeah, but he's no harm. He's no harm. Until one day, the cap on the bottle popped off. It became too much for that person. Now, this is just in the beginning. We've only been getting into it for a week. But when I'm looking at the location, when I'm looking at the evidence, when I'm with what's put out there, when I'm looking at what makes sense to me, it makes sense that she either knew this person was interested and she friend zoned him, or this person was interested and just acted like a concerning dude, but really he didn't want her to have anybody else, and so he just tried to keep her as close as he could without crossing that boundary. And then when she was about to leave the country for the rest of her life and go marry somebody else, that's when this person was in the mode of, if I can't have you, ain't nobody gonna have you. That's just me, but we'll get into it.
I've got to do the right thing and be happy because that's what she would want from me until we meet again.
And that's a legitimate question, Jamie. It's something that from the very beginning, when the cell phone is found next to her fingertips and you can hear the bells from the notifications from missed calls and messages, to me, instantly I'm going to the phone because I guarantee the person requested a ride. Hey, can you do me a favor and drop me off in this spot? I just need a ride real quick because she was going to work that day. I just need a ride real quick. Can you drop me off over here? I have to go meet, so and so. Is that okay? Okay, sure. I'll come give you a ride. I do have to go to work. Yeah, no problem. It's just going to take a few minutes right across the bridge, just a few minutes. And her not even knowing that she was driving to the destination where this person committed the crime. I don't feel this because in the very beginning, could this have taken place where somebody, like an altercation, took place right under the bridge and then that's where the crime was committed? I don't think it was spontaneous. I don't think it was spontaneous. I think this person chose that specific spot. It was not on her route to work. No. And I'll show you the map, the map that I have with all the routes and the locations too, just so I can bring you guys there as close as possible. All right, I'm going to go to the next news clip here. I think they had it all planned out. Wait until you see how I think this person left the crime scene.
A woman's daughter taken away from her 4 years ago today. Amber Berbiglia's life cut short. The 23-year-old was found brutally beaten and murdered under a Robert Edge Parkway overpass on this very day back in 2013. And tonight, there's still no answer as to who her killer is. This afternoon, though, her mother hoped to spur new leads and action in that case by rallying with a group of parents who have lost their own children to violence. Another mother says she knows exactly the kind of hurt Amber's mom is feeling today.
Each and every day it's growing, and we hate it every time that we got to go and talk to a mom. It really upsets me that I got to go out there because I already know what she's going through before I even get there. I know exactly how she's feeling. I can look at her and see the tears and see the pain in her eyes and in her heart, because I know I feel that each and every day.
If you have any information about what may have happened to Amber, please give Horry County Police a call. There is a reward still available for this case.
Like anyone else that loves the unexplained, I search the internet like a crazy man, looking for stories, people,
There's nothing.
Whatever it is. And that's actually where I found Al and Randy, two dudes who try and solve murders by speaking to the dead.
Okay, I'm going to skip that. But there's nothing.
We got a call.
Holy crap. There's nothing out there. All right. Before we're going to check this out later. Now, I'm going to show you guys the map. And I'm going to show you the routes. Okay. All right. So here's all the routes when it comes to where she went to school, where she worked, where she stopped for gas, where she stopped to pay her cable bill, where the crime took place. Okay. Now, I do have all of this footage. I have the drive, the route. I'm not sure if I uploaded the route video. I might have. I'll have to look. But I drove the route where she would have paid the cable bill, where she stopped to get gas, then where I feel the route that she took, based off of the evidence that's put out there, based off of what they have offered when it comes to her route. Now, there's a lot of footage of her and then the funeral home as well. Here, let me take that one out though. Okay. Now there's a lot of footage of her, okay, paying the cable bill, which is now a Kroger. It used to be Time Warner Cable. Right here used to be Time Warner Cable. Now it's a Kroger, okay. The here's Greg Norman Australian Grill, okay. So if you look at the route, okay, this is where the crime took place. Not at this business, but right here. Let me put it right there. All right. That's where the crime took place. Now, she was first spotted over here on traffic camera and surveillance camera from the business. Now, she was paying her cable bill. After she paid her cable bill, she left, went south on Highway 17. Okay. South on Highway 17. Now, there's her work. Now, why she chose to get gas over here, I don't know. Maybe she didn't go to Walmart. This is what I don't know. Why get gas here unless you had some kind of Walmart card to save you gas? Maybe that's what it was. Because there's plenty other gas stations on the route before you get to your job. So maybe it was, the Sam's Club something, but it was a Murphy. So I don't know. I don't know if there's some kind of tie or connection there. Not sure yet. But what we do know is after that, this is where the surveillance goes down. And this is why I feel like she went the route that I took you guys on in my footage. Because when it comes to all of the footage that you can have on Highway 17, you would have been able to obtain a lot of footage because you obtained a lot of footage of her going to the gas station. What changes on the way back is the amount of footage. Now, I don't know if it's the amount of footage that's being released to the public or they don't have the footage. But when you listen to the evidence and how they couldn't find her for about a half an hour on footage, she pulled off to a side road, and maybe that's why she got gas here. Maybe this person lived in this specific area. Maybe the reason for the Murphys was because this person lived in this neighborhood right there. This one. Is that why she stopped at the Murphy's gas station? Because when you look at the school, okay, she had gone off to a side road after she got gas. She turned down a side road somewhere around here, I would imagine. We don't know. Turned down a side road, and it appeared that another individual was in her vehicle. After that, they caught her on camera where you could see a shadow figure in her passenger seat. Then they lost her for a half an hour. The reason that I feel like they lost her for a half an hour was because she then went up 22, turned right onto 31. Okay. There's not a lot of businesses, not a lot of security camera. You turn at Robert Edge Parkway. There's a business right here that might have caught something of a car driving by. She comes up on camera for a short period of time, turns down from Robert Edge Parkway, turns down Old Sanders Road, and then right here is where the crime took place. Now, you can see you got 2 houses back here, 3 houses. Okay? We got a business right here with a bunch of cars around. Okay? and you have this crime taking place. You have this crime taking place right here. 4 to 4:25 in the afternoon on a Friday, and nobody heard or saw. You're talking about an injury that looked like somebody had a wound from a gun. You're talking about bruises and scratches all up and down her arm to the point where the funeral home advised the parents and the family that she wear long sleeves. How did nobody hear this take place? Do we get to see the footage? Yes, you get to see it right now. Charity, number 36, thank you so much. Also, I want to say contribution call out. Kib Kitty, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. And thank you for the people for your support for the memberships as well. Thank you so much. People don't like the contribution call out. I feel like he's talking to us like we're little kids. I'm sorry. That's not what it is at all. I like when I tell you that the contributions mean everything. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. That's why I make a little I don't have the fancy gadgets and the soundboards and all that other stuff. But what I do have is the ability to shout you out for your support. So thank you so much. And that's why I made up the whole contribution call out, because really, I don't have any of the fancy stuff, but I do have my voice and I do have my heart. And I just want to say thank you for your support. All right, we're going to check out some footage now, just a little bit here. Let me see how I think the person. So GoPro 11,087. Give me 1 second. 11,087. 11,087. This is how I think the person committed this crime. This is how easy it is. To go up the side of the bank. So right there, I'm standing off to my right is the memorial where everything took place. Literally right to my right. Let me show you this one first. Then we'll get to this one. Let me show you this one first. So you can see the memorial. Right there, right in front of us is where the car was sitting. She was found off to the right there. Okay? Now just look around. Let me go full screen for you. Hold on. Let's change this. Let's go this, and we'll go with that. All right. So check out this whole layout here. They didn't take the valuables. They didn't take the phone. And they left. Nobody's seen or heard anything. Did this person have somebody coming to pick them up? Maybe this person walked up the side of. See, I just walked across the road, 2-lane road. I just walked across the road. Look at this. This hopped up on the interstate and hitched a ride. Something doesn't make sense. Most importantly, nobody heard a thing. There was obviously a struggle. There was obviously a struggle with her injuries. How did nobody hear a thing? Yep. 4 to 4:30 in the afternoon. What's up, Jill? All right, so you see the memorial. I showed you guys where the car was at. I showed you where she was at, right? Now, this is, see where the justice, when you see the fence right there, you see how the fence is cracked open? See how the fence is cracked open right there, okay? I didn't. And I want to say contribution call out to Jill real quick. Thank you so much for the Amazon gifts. Appreciate it very much. Again, thank you. All right, you see the cracked part of the fence. Now, when I'm standing here, I'm at the cracked part of the fence, okay? So we'll go back here. You see the cracked part of the fence right above my head. Now, when I'm standing here, you see the cracked part of the fence. Now, check this out. This is how easy it is. And time this too, you guys. I'm at the crack of the fence. I'm basically standing by where the person committed the crime. Go ahead and time it to see how long it would take me to get up on the bridge and look like some normal person walking down the highway on the side of the road. Yeah, I know you see them all the time. I know you do. This is how easy it is. To go up the side of the bank. This is how easy it is. This is why I think the person left this way. Look, all they had to do was walk up here, hop this little gate right here, and get, look at that, and basically hop the rail. They could basically hop the rail, gate right here, hop the rail, and just walk down. You see why I'm saying this spot had to be like planned out? Because look, you're basically standing at the scene of the crime. Exactly, Busby. Quick as hell. You're at the scene of the crime. This is why it had to be planned. Because I know that I can commit this crime under the bridge real quick. I can run up, hop the rail, and be walking like nobody knew a thing. And you know the reason why I think the person wore black clothing? Because you can barely see the red stuff on black clothing. Why is there a shadowy type figure in the vehicle on the footage? Because the person was wearing all black, I bet. Because they wanted to be able, I wouldn't even be surprised if they weren't wearing a backpack so they could clean off their hands and their face before they went to walk. A bottle of water and a towel and a backpack so they can clean off their face and their hands. You can't see it on their clothing. They walk up here. Who's going to think somebody that's walking down the side of the highway with a backpack is going to be somebody that just committed this horrific crime? And how easy would they be able to blend in? Hop that rail and continue to walk down. I don't even think they had an accomplice waiting on the bridge, honestly, because that's somebody else that they would have to include in the crime and being secret and not saying nothing. But what I do think, Busby, is I think this person walked down the highway. Because let me go back to the map. I think this person walked down this. See, here's the walk area right here that you see on the GoPro. This is where I'm standing right here. See these little things right here? You see those as I'm walking up to the top. This person, I think, was walking down this way. Okay. Came down over here, walked all the way over here. And when they got to this area, that's where they said, "Hey, man, my car broke down on the highway. Can you come pick me up real quick? Can you come pick me up real quick?" And then when they got in the car, "Man, why? What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" "Yeah, I just got a bunch of fluid from the engine all over my shirt. Sorry, man. I'm just freaked out. The car engine just blew up. I got to get a tow. Sorry, man. Sorry, man." He could have played it off like it was. So that to not have an accomplice, because, yeah, he probably could have had somebody waiting. But then again, that person's going to be on the side of the road. Law enforcement can pull up, see if they're doing okay. "Hey, what's wrong?" Anybody could pull up. "No, I'm just sitting here. I'm waiting for." Then you look suspicious. And you also include somebody else in knowing the crime and what took place. That's why I think the person hopped up here, walked all the way over here, and said, "Hey, my car broke down on the interstate. Can you do me a favor? I went to walk, but man, I'm worn out. Can you do me a favor? Can you come pick me up?" But I don't know. I need to dig in some more. But that's just what it's telling me right now. That's how easy it is, see? Well, they didn't have a vehicle parked there because they got picked up from another location. They actually got picked up. The person that was in the vehicle got picked up way over here in this area. This is where the person got picked up. Somewhere in this area. Then they went on 22 and went back up 31, which is why they wouldn't have been caught on very much traffic camera. And they just went on Robert Edge Parkway, took a quick right onto Old Sanders Road, and boom, right there. Whether it was a getaway or leaving the vehicle, you're bringing more attention to yourself. This right here, when it comes to the evidence and what's not there, the fact that there's nothing that they have anything to go off of tells me that it was a solo act, tells me that they got away quickly with nothing left behind, probably had a backpack. And then also it tells me that if they were, because if you leave a bike, the bike might be stolen when you commit the crime, and all of a sudden you're shit out of luck. There would have been something else they would have messed up. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like they walked up that path. "Hey, man, my car broke down the side of the road. My engine blew. I got fluid all over me. I'm walking down one of these side streets, man. Can you just come pick me up?" They already towed my car, right? They already towed my car, man. Can you just come pick me up real quick, take me back home so I can clean up? Sure, man. Because I really feel like somebody would have talked. Somebody would have talked. That's how easy it is, see? And that's where she was at. Look at how easy it is. Look at how easy it is to get there. It's not hard at all. Look at how close that business is. a business right there.
See what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it.
They got a ride. Look at how close. That's why I think this person left up onto this bridge. In just a few steps. Right there. So I really truly feel, and it could have been the other side too. They're both, you can climb up, you can walk up both sides. I feel like they committed this crime. And walked up right up to there and then started walking away from here.
Or they could have walked up that spot too. They could have went the other way, or they could have went that way. And then just walked on down. Hey, pick me up on a side road. My engine blew on my car. I got fluid all over me. It's sad. All right, so I wanted to show you guys that footage real quick. Also, I brought this up a little bit ago. This is driving to all of the locations of interest from the crime scene. We did this a few days ago. If you haven't seen it yet, here's the link for it. This is where I drive to all locations of interest. So if you want to check that out, it's about a 35-minute video. We start off, like I said, from the crime scene. Start off from the crime scene, and then I take you to all the different locations so you can see the atmosphere and what everything looks like. So there's that link for you. Now we're going to be getting into the Nancy Grace episode, okay? There are going to be some parts where it might be graphic, just as a heads up, just based off of the injuries and the information. They did not find a weapon. They don't know the weapon. They did not find it. That's the thing. When it comes to the weapon, when law enforcement first showed up, they initially thought it was a GSW. And when they did the autopsy, that's when they discovered that, in fact, it was not from a GSW. It was from some other object. No information. Now, the stuff that's been put out or released from law enforcement is very minimal. So because it is a cold case, I'm sure, there is something that they're keeping close to the vest to make sure if somebody does admit to this crime, they can be like, oh yeah, what was this part of the evidence? Oh, it was this. Oh, okay. But as of, I've tried to see, I haven't. Okay, this is a link. Thank you, Caddy. Here's a link to the Facebook group Justice for Amber. And this was posted about a month ago. I'm posting these photos because I think it's important for everyone to understand the surroundings that Amber's car was found. I also included Google Earth maps from back in 2013 since the area today looks way different. Thank you, Google Earth, for the history data. All right, so we're going to go through these real quick. So it's showing a picture. It looks like a muddy dirt circle. So hold on. Let me save these two. So it looks like a muddy dirt circle. Okay, so these are the different locations here. That's where the body was found. Can I zoom in? There we go. All right, so that is where the vehicle, these two right there. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. It was actually over there. Hold on. So this was a business still. The dirt, but back here is where it was all muddy and there's like a big pit there. I'm going to have to see the highway from over there. Now, let me look at the current Google images here. Thank you, Caddy, for the post, and thank you, Justice for Amber Group there. Let me see here. Let me go to... So this right here is right here. So right here, so this is the current image. So this location right here is what we're looking at on the old map, okay? So they had to have ran to that part of the bridge to get on the walkway. The body was... So let me see. So that's where the car was. Now I see I see some trees. All right, so the car was here. The car was here. She was found right up in here. And I bet you the person went underneath the bridge, walked up this side, and started walking down the walk path. This right here, you can see how on the image it has like an oval type shape. An oval type shape. You can see it in this image. Also, you can see the darkness in the middle there. When you see this photo, you can see the darkness right there, how it kind of gets that oval shape. You got some trees here. You got some trees back here. So when you're looking at this image, you got the dark spot. You got the trees here. The trees here, she was found right in this location right here. All right, so let's get Google. Whoa. Let's drop Google guy. All right. So this right here, and when we go, we'll get zoom. So basically, there's the path that they drove down. And so she was basically found over here. So they drove down this path, pulled over, brought her out there, and she had her cell phone with her too. Her cell phone was found right next to her hand. And I bet you the person after that ran over to the bridge, ran up the bridge, and started walking. Now, that is private property right now, but because I'll be doing more work here, and I will get more footage, and I will get footage. I won't be able to gain access to the property, and I'll have to see where the property line goes. But I'm going to go back in there, and we'll get the zoom for you with the footage. So that's the path. Now there's a bunch of trees here. You have cover. You definitely have cover. Nobody's really, unless somebody right here's driving by and looks over and sees something odd. I mean, I don't know. That's what's weird to me is even if you are going 65, if you see a car and you see two people, I don't know. You would think that you would look over and it would seem odd, and then you hear something. Yeah, it did look muddy, right? Let me go back to that photo. That's her vehicle. Mm. But this is the thing. What would make her turn down this road? What would make her turn down the road? Let's see more dates. Let's go 2012. All right, this is 2012. So that's the property line right there. I'll take a screenshot of that. That's a good photo too. What would make her go down this route? Right? If you're driving down the road, Let me go look over here real quick. Back to 2012. Path goes around here. So right here is like some kind of storage fencing area. That's blocked off. There's no business over here yet. There's just some kind of little... So there's no business over here yet. It's just some farm. Okay. Now that is a driveway that heads back to the other houses. This right here... Okay, all that's cleared out. Man, so the only people that would have heard or saw anything really would have been right here. And they live so far back there, right there. And you got all this tree cover. They might have heard something, but nothing that would have actually made them maybe run all the way out here. Maybe they just heard what sounded like an altercation or somebody screaming at somebody. The crazy thing is how nobody saw anybody leave the crime scene. Here, we got to go back to... Whoa! All right. Yeah, but if she was trying to get away, why wouldn't she stop at a business? Why wouldn't she pull over in the middle of the road and just get out? You know what I'm saying? Why? If you knew the danger that you were... Unless they had a gun. Unless they had a gun. Now, they didn't shoot her. But what would make... If you are trying to get away, this... You don't... If you're trying to get away, you're trying to get away where there's like people that can see you to help you right away. This right here would... If you're trying to get away and you drive down this road, that's not a good sign. It... I bet you he would... I bet he just... Like I said, he probably like said, "Hey, can you give me a ride down over here real quick? I gotta go meet somebody." On your way to work, sure. And then who knows, maybe they drove back here and he's like, "Yeah, it's just..." It's kind of like, because I feel like this person... There's nothing in CODIS, but I feel like this person committed a crime like this or has since. Because if you think about, if you guys remember the Craigslist killer, okay, he would advertise owning a plot of land to these people, and he advertised it on Craigslist. "I need a farmhand. I need a farmhand that can, live on the property, that can maintain everything out there, and he would take these people out to these wooded areas." Craigslist killer, you can look it up, in Ohio, Barberton, suburb of Akron. He would take these people out to the middle of these woods and be like, "Nope, just keep going a little bit farther down, a little bit farther down." And then they would get out of the vehicle, and then he would end up getting behind them, and then he would commit the crime. I kind of feel like that was a tactic. Like they said, "Hey, can you give me a ride? I need to meet somebody over here." Then, "Oh, where's it by?" "Over here." "Oh, by the Robert Edge Parkway Bridge, but underneath." "Oh, okay." And then you're driving down the road. "Yeah, just turn right here." It's a little muddy. "Yeah, it's okay. Just keep, he's right down here. He's past that tree line right there, He's past this tree line over here. Just go ahead. We'll help you get unstuck if you get..." Okay. And then next thing you know, then it was like, get out of the vehicle, oh, and then next thing you know, boom, surprise. Maybe it was a surprise attack, right? Maybe it was, hey, I got a surprise I want to show you, but it's out here or what, it was a surprise attack maybe. Because really, who, if you're trying to get away, or like if you're in a hurry too, if you're in a hurry, this is a weird spot to go to. So, what's up, Ariel? Seems like they asked her to be dropped off there so he could walk to wherever he claimed. Yeah. Well, and just like the video right here, this is why I think that the person left the way that they did and probably picked that specific area, because this right here, this is how easy it is. This is so basically over to the right is where she was at. I think they would have ran under the bridge and did this to go up the side of the bank. No idea, Ariel. No idea. I should say they're not releasing that information. I don't have any idea. They're not releasing that information. Forced her off the road to stay hidden, then she jumped. That could be too. Very well. Very well. And maybe the injury was from the butt of the weapon, right? That right there, the butt of the weapon with enough force could definitely create an injury that made it look like there was GSW. Definitely. Maybe his car. It could be, but then I think that with a car being parked there by that area, you have a lot of chance of, or even, a lot of chance of somebody saying, this is the thing, there's no information that we know of. It's not like somebody, I feel like if a car was left there, I feel like somebody would have some information. They would have said, yeah, I saw a Dodge Durango parked on the side of the road for a couple hours that day. There would be something. There's nothing. There's nothing. Do we know if they found evidence? They know that there was a struggle. They know that she fought hard. She had bruises and scratches all up and down her arms, to the point where the funeral home advised the family to have her wear long sleeves for the showing. Now, with the types of injuries, okay? Now, if they're worried about the long sleeves, the injuries probably came in the back of the head. That's why I feel like it was some kind of surprise tactic. Like, here, it's right over here, just like the Craigslist killer. They got behind the person and surprised attacked him. They probably would. They probably would. This is what I'm going to try and dig into the university records, because I feel like she went to class with the person that committed the crime. I want to dig into the records for the university, because I want to see who didn't come to class for a few days. I want to see who changed classes. I want to see who maybe even dropped out. I want to see, because I feel like this person had that close kind of relationship where she would trust somebody, her friends maybe. He acts really weird. Yeah, I know he acts really weird, but he's no harm. You know what I'm saying? I talk to a lot of domestic violence survivors of crimes and things like that, and they'll tell you, I thought he was a little weird, but I didn't think that he, right? I always thought he was a little weird, but he was no harm. I thought he was no harm. And all of a sudden, All right, so we're going to listen to this. We're going to check out Nancy Grace here. And again, it's going to be going into the voicemail that she last left her mom. And then we're going to be checking out the Nancy Grace episode where she had the family and some of the people that speak on behalf of the case. So let me share Nancy Grace's link for you if you're not subscribed. And these two videos are going to be, I want you guys to hear the voicemail. It was the last one. But also we're going to check out the episode where they have everybody on. Thank you all for hopping in. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you very much. And please hit the like if you haven't yet.
When you don't know where to go, you start over and you look at who is your victim. Listen.
Amber Berbiglia is originally from New York, but calls South Carolina home now. She is a college student at Horry Georgetown Technical College with designs on becoming a costume designer. Studying abroad in London for part of her education, she meets Jose Tolsar and comes back home in love. After 2 years of dating, Amber and Jose make plans to marry weeks after she graduates from college, and that time is fast approaching.
What more do we know? Listen.
At age 23, Amber Berbiglia doesn't live at home, but talks to her mother daily. When one of her calls to her mother isn't answered, Amber leaves a message for her mother. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. I love you. Good night.
Oh, my stars. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. I love you. Good night. A message she leaves her mom. And joining me right now is Amber's mother, Michelle Robinson. Miss Robinson, I almost hated to say those words back because I know it's like a knife to your heart to hear that rhyme, that message she left to you, that little poem. But I want to ask you about the facts. We keep saying she went to go pay a cable bill, but there was something very probative about her paying the cable bill. Have you been informed about the video from inside the Time Warner cable office where she paid her bill, that while she's in there, there is a man standing?
Damn, Ariel, that's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it, but you bring up a good point. There's basically, I mean, and you're going to hear in this episode, there is nothing much, no answers, nothing much to go off of. It's sad. 11 years.
Behind her, staring at her, and it's been described as in an aggressive manner. But it's my understanding, Miss Robinson, that the guy, for all I know, he's angry about having to wait in line, has been investigated thoroughly and he has been cleared. Correct?
That's what I was told.
To Karen Ritchie joining us, Amber's best friend, and to her sister, Amanda Berbiglia. Amanda, was there anything else happening in her life that she seemed disturbed about or worried about that you know of?
No, not at all. Just a couple weeks before she was killed, she came to visit me for Easter. I had some things I had to take care of, so she had come to take care of my daughters while I was away. And then when I came home, we spent Easter Sunday together before she went back home. And, she didn't mention at all anything.
Nothing at all. Would she have told you if she was worried about someone or something?
Yeah, we were pretty close. She used to call me all the time. but she would have made me aware if there was something bothering her.
Alexis Tereszchuk, crimeonline.com. Where does the case stand right now?
The case is still open. There have been no suspects released to the public. There has been nobody arrested for it. Nothing. The police have not given any leads as to what anybody should look for. They have not said anything. They've never identified publicly a murder weapon at all. So this is a case that is still very open, and still all of the evidence has not been released, and they're still looking for the murderers or murderer.
To ease their broken hearts, Amber's family erected a memorial, photos, mementos, flowers underneath the freeway overpass where she lost her life. They've also set up a website with information about her murder, justiceforamber.org. Repeat, justiceforamber.org. If you know, or even think you know anything about the murder of this beautiful young co-ed, please call toll-free 888-CRIME-SC, 888-274-6372, 888-274-6372. There is a $6,000 reward for information leading to the discovery of the facts behind the murder of Amber Berbiglia. From a blow from a fist, or would it have? Breaking news tonight, a gorgeous young Myrtle Beach co-ed, just 23 years old, found dead under an overpass. Her car still running. What happened to Amber? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
A young South Carolina woman runs errands on her way to work. She stops to pay her cable bill, gets gas, but never makes it to work.
She's absolutely stunning and was just days away from graduating from college. What happened to Amber? This is how it all starts. Listen.
The Myrtle Beach area of South Carolina gets very busy on the weekends, and at around 4:30 p.m. on a Friday, a call comes into 911. The caller says there appears to be an injured person outside of a car on Old Sanders Road under the Robert Edge Parkway overpass in North Myrtle Beach. Officers arrive quickly and find the woman lying next to her still running car and no witnesses. The woman has a cell phone inches away from her fingertips that is actively beeping with missed calls, texts, and email messages.
With all that evidence, it seems so hard to comprehend. We still don't have Amber's answers as to what happened to this gorgeous young co-ed. Joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now, including Amber's mother, her sister, and her very best friend. I want to go straight out first to Amber's mother, Michelle Robinson. When did you learn that Amber had passed away?
I had just gotten home from work, and bang, bang, bang on my door. And I'm like, who the hell would be knocking at my door, banging at my door like that? I said, who? Who? So I cracked the door open a little bit, and they barged their way in. They said, we're investigating homicide, Amber Berbiglia. I said, homicide went over my head. I said, Amber, where is she? Where is she? One of them said, she's been shot. I'm like, what? And he grabbed my arm. Is she right? He said, no, she's deceased. And I want you to fall back. And he grabbed me and he said, no, I can't. And he's been asking me questions. I couldn't think straight. I needed to call my mother. My mom was on her way to Pennsylvania. I said, Mom, the officer took the phone. I couldn't dial. It was a nightmare since.
Also with Miss Robinson is Amber's sister, Amanda. Amanda, when did you learn that your sister, she's absolutely beautiful and so much ahead of her in life, when did you learn that she had been killed?
I was at work. I had gotten a few phone calls throughout the night. I was waitressing at the time, and it was a busy Friday night, and I didn't answer my phone. So at the end of my shift, I finally picked up my phone, and it was my uncle, and told me that she had been shot. And I didn't think it was possible, other than, like, maybe she was in the hospital. So I was just like, well, where is she? How is she doing? And he just said, I'm sorry, honey, she's gone.
What went through your mind when you heard the phrase, I'm sorry, honey, she's gone?
It was not comprehensible. I just kind of like fell to the ground. There were still customers in the restaurant, and nobody knew what was going on. And my coworkers just kind of picked me up and helped me out the back door, and, trying to figure out what was happening. And I just, blurted it out. My sister was shot. She's dead. And, they just helped me pull myself together and get home and get to my dad. And it's like my mother said, it's been a nightmare ever since.
When you first learned, Amanda, that Amber had been shot, in your mind, what did you think had happened?
I had no idea. There were so many different things that could have, were going through my mind. I just quick got home and, packed my stuff and headed down to South Carolina to try to figure out, to make sense of any bit of that.
Also joining us, in addition to Amber's mother and sister, her best friend, Karen Ritchie. Karen, describe for us when you learned Amber had been killed.
Someone at the scene recognized Amber and called my manager at overtime and told him. And they called me in the office and told me it was unbelievable. He told that somebody shot her, and that's what they said in the beginning. And, your head just spins, because, who in the world is going to do something like that? It took me a few minutes to get it together to be able to drive home. And it's just been unbelievable ever since, because it's just like one dead end after another.
Karen Ritchie is joining us, Amanda Berbiglia and Michelle Robinson. Let me understand, Karen, when you were first told that Amber had been killed, what did you believe happened in your heart of hearts? When I was first told my fiance was dead, I thought there had been some horrible car crash, some accident. That's what I thought. Then I found out he had been shot, and I couldn't even imagine a scenario under which that would happen. Neither one of us owned a gun. Nobody had a gun in their home. So how was he shot? But I was in such shock, I didn't think it through. When you first heard this news that Amber had been shot, what did you think happened? And I have a reason for asking. Go ahead.
Well, like something random, or possibly a robbery or something to that effect. It just didn't make any sense. She didn't hurt anybody. It didn't make any sense that anybody would hurt her. She was the most caring, giving person. She had such a spirit and an aura. I just couldn't wrap my head around that anybody would want to hurt her for any reason.
Just days away from graduating college, her life cut down, found underneath an overpass, her car still running, her fingertips near her cell phone, which was buzzing off the chart. What more do we know? Listen.
First responders find a female victim lying outside her still running car. Injuries to her face are so severe, at first glance, it appears she has been shot in the face. The woman has died before help arrives, and no witnesses are around to provide any context for what has taken place. Investigators find the victim's purse inside the car with money still in it and rule out robbery as a motive. They also find the victim's identification, Amber Berbiglia.
See what I'm saying? The stuff right there, that's what's just out. This is telling me that she knew them. Why would she go down this road? She had to know them. Because if you don't know the person, why are you going down the road unless they have a weapon? And maybe they did have a weapon. They didn't use it. They just used a part of it to commit the crime.
Context for what has taken place. Investigators find the victim's purse inside the car with money still in it and rule out robbery as a motive. They also find the victim's identification, Amber Berbiglia.
Joining us, in addition to Amber Berbiglia's family, Michelle Robinson, Amanda Berbiglia, her sister and best friend Karen Ritchie, Barry Hutchinson Sr. now joining us, 26 years in law enforcement, veteran detective, now chief investigator with Barry and Associates. Barry Hutchinson, thank you for being with us. Well, immediately police rule out robbery because her purse, her pocketbook is still there. Her cell phone is still there. There's money in the purse. So it's not robbery. We also see that she's outside of the car. So it's not a random drive-by shooting. She's outside the car. What do you think?
I think it was somebody that was that she was familiar with. I think it was a crime of opportunity. My first instinct is telling me that it's probably somebody that had romantic interest in her, but they weren't reciprocated. And I think it was a crime of passion from that standpoint.
What more can we deduce from the scene?
Yes, a crime of passion. A crime of passion with the injuries. She was about to get married, graduate, move to another country, start her new life. I feel like this person was probably stuck in the friend zone, couldn't take it. It became too much. He was gonna lose her, according to him. And if he couldn't have her, nobody was gonna have her.
Listen.
Horry County Police Detective Jonathan Martin says Amber Berbiglia's body is found along Old Sanders Road under the Robert Edge Parkway overpass. There are no witnesses on scene. Although the injuries to her face appeared to be gunshot wounds, the coroner reveals that Amber Berbiglia wasn't shot as previously thought. She was beaten to death, and cause of death is blunt force trauma.
So when responders first get there, they believe that Amber has been shot, but then they realize she was beaten so badly, she appeared to have been shot in the face. Also joining us, a renowned chief medical examiner out of Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth, and esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU, Dr. Kendall Crowns. Dr. Crowns, thank you for being with us. Explain to me in medical terms what that means.
So sometimes gunshot wounds can be, or blunt force injuries can be confused with gunshot wounds because the natures of wounds on the head can look like a gunshot wound injury. You can get these kind of stellate tears or star-shaped tears that can look like entrance wounds from gunshots, but instead are from blunt force injuries, especially if they've used a weapon or a rock or a hammer. It can leave these type of stellate wounds or star-shaped wounds. The other thing is
that's why I think the person went to class with her, and I think other people would have been, he's kind of weird, but he's no harm to anybody. That kind of person. That kind of person. And it shouldn't. That's Ariel. That's why I'm going to try and dig into the university records, look at the class of 2013, look at the roster for the classes she was in. I really feel like this person went to school with her and was in one of her classes and probably asked her for help with homework. I really feel like the person probably was asking her for help with homework. I'm going to be digging into it.
As often with blunt force trauma, there can be so much deformation or damage to the head that it can look like a gunshot wound, which also causes a significant trauma to the head as well.
So you're telling me a person can be beaten so badly that it actually resembles a gunshot wound?
Yes, they can be beaten so badly that the destruction that happens to the head and the skull can have the appearance of the massive trauma caused by a gunshot wound.
Do we know what time of the day or night she was attacked? Let me go out to Karen Ritchie or Amanda Berbiglia. Let me go to you, Amanda. Do we know what time of the day or night that this occurred?
It was around, I think, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. It was broad daylight.
My understanding, it was closer to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And when you say broad daylight, that's very significant, because to Barry Hutchison Sr. joining us, again, 26 years in law enforcement, this person that attacked her was so bold. And there's no way this can be deemed self-inflicted, because it's not a gunshot wound. It's blunt force trauma. So severe, her skull was fractured. I just wanted to make sure I understood the time of the attack. This person is brazen to commit a crime like this. It's not just a drive-by shooting. Wham, bam, you're done. She has to get out of the car, and then she's beaten horribly around the face to the point she dies, her skull fractured, and nobody sees a thing.
Yeah, Nancy, it just doesn't make sense. And to me, it has all the hallmarks of something to where there's so much passion involved in the crime itself, so much pain and injury that was inflicted, that to me, it just really stands out as somebody that knew her, and she was there for a very specific reason. Maybe that person was following her and she pulled off the road because she saw them. We don't know. I mean, the case, it's pretty much hush-hush with the Horry County Police. They're not discussing it in any regard whatsoever. But to me, it has a lot of key indicators as somebody that she was familiar with. And again, I think because of all the passion involved in the crime, that it was probably, I'm really leaning towards somebody that, for lack of better words, that she jilted, that wanted a relationship with her, but she just did not reciprocate. She was very happy with the person she was with, had plans on getting married. And I think this was kind of a confrontation by that person as a last-ditch effort to say, hey, why not me instead of this guy? And then when she didn't go with it, I think that passion just overcame that person, and the young lady lost her life tragically.
And that's why I feel like it definitely could be a coworker, but this is why I feel like it was somebody she went to school with. You're gonna have more time with somebody that you go to school with than somebody that works part-time for a few hours at a restaurant. You might not even be working the same shifts. You're not gonna be, you might have some small talk here and there. But this is another reason why I think it was somebody she went to class with. The class could have been her class partner for projects. There could have been time to work on classes together outside of school. I feel like this person wanted to consume as much time as possible with her, and with work, that's one thing, part-time job. Not that it's not a possibility, but when it comes to somebody you're in class with, your class partners on projects, you're working on homework after class, I feel like this person wanted to dominate her time. What's up, Beach Bell? Thank you for hopping in. Appreciate you. That is correct, Jill. Whoever it was knew she was moving away soon, knew she was getting married, knew she was moving to London, knew she was going to be starting a new path and be gone, because this person wouldn't even be able to have her he couldn't drive to North Carolina if she moved to North Carolina. He couldn't, but to go to London, that's a long ways away. Someone who thought their connection was something more than it actually was, and that's 150%, Ariel. Can you imagine, like, if it was a classmate, they're like having homework, and you can picture the guy as she's going to the bathroom, and he's like, okay, right when she comes back. And then she comes back, and it just, the inferior confidence, found out it was just a few weeks away. All right, I got to do something. If I can't have her, nobody's going to have her.
A beautiful young woman found beaten to death, lying next to her running car under a freeway overpass. Who could do this?
Amber Berbiglia is originally from New York, but calls South Carolina home now. She is a college student at Horry Georgetown Technical College with designs on becoming a costume designer. Studying abroad in London for part of her education, she meets Jose Tolsar and comes back home in love. After 2 years of dating, Amber and Jose make plans to marry weeks after she graduates from college, and that time is fast approaching.
That casts some light on the theory a, quote, jilted lover or boyfriend killed her. If she had been involved in that relationship for 2 years and very happy, it's highly unlikely that there was another guy on the side. We don't have any information about that.
It could be a female. Nobody has stated whether it's a male or a female. It's a shadowy figure. But I don't even think that a sex from the person that committed the crime, has been determined or assumed. It could be a female as well. I just feel like the person went to school with her. They were in her class. Maybe they went to work with her too. They were in class together. He went and worked at the same place. It could be all of those things. I feel like it was a male. But it could be a female. Absolutely.
No, there's no information that there was anybody on the side. I don't think, she would have had anybody, but she had a lot of friends, and it could have been somebody that she had a friendship with that just really wanted more than that, and she just wouldn't reciprocate.
Thinking all of this through, let me figure out, can either of you three ladies, her mom, her sister, or best friend, enlighten me on her love interest, her relationship, her fiance? They were a few weeks away from getting married.
She was very happy with Jose. She was very excited to get married and start her future. She was moving to London, and I mean, she was just so happy. They were smitten. They were a perfect fairy tale love story.
To Michelle Robinson, this is Amber Berbiglia's mom. Michelle, what was she doing for a living until she moved back to London? Where was she working?
She was working at Australian Grill, which is a very high-class restaurant, serving, and she was going to school at the same time. Here's a picture. Me and her mother, her grandmother, went and picked out wedding dresses just weeks before. I do not believe it was someone that had passion for her. I believe it was a stranger, because if they knew Amber, they would not kill her. She lit up her room. She was happy all the time. If someone had something against her, they would have told her that. I don't think it was someone she knew. That's my
Let's
belief.
analyze what Michelle Robinson is saying. Join me now, crimeonline.com investigative reporter Alexis Tereszczuk. Alexis, thank you for being with us tonight. I'm trying to analyze what I've just heard. Now, you and I, Alexis, have handled a lot of homicide cases together. And one thing I've always been puzzled with is that it seems sometimes like the very best, the sweetest people end up being homicide victims, and even at random victims. So while I understand what mom is saying, that's not always true, because a person is wonderful and loving and innocent and lights up a room. That does not protect them from predators. Another thing, Alexis Tereszczuk, any light you could shed on this. Many people, including the mom, Michelle Robinson, believe that this was stranger on stranger for a robbery. But think it through. And I'm going to go back to you on this, Barry Hutchinson Sr. If you want money, you want to rob somebody, is following a woman in a car in broad daylight, dragging her out of the car.
All right, I'm going to skip that because she says a bunch of stuff that's just not even part of the case. And you see Nancy Grace kind of flip on her.
Take the purse or the money. That doesn't make sense. Alexis, what facts can you shed on this?
Well, also, there was not a weapon found, as far as the police have said, at the crime scene. So we don't know if she was hit with the person's fist or if they had another weapon, but they did not take the money. So you think maybe something went wrong. Maybe she owed somebody money for some reason. They followed her. They said to get the money back, but they left the purse. And again, it is broad daylight. While this isn't a heavily trafficked area, as you can see from the photos, it is still a public location where she was just found literally her car was running. So she was very surprised when this happened, and they left. No, they didn't take anything. So if she was, let's just say she owed somebody some money, she was going to meet them with the money. Something happened, she didn't give it to them. They didn't take the money. They didn't take anything. And they didn't take her cell phone either.
Alexis Tereshchuk, I specifically asked if you could shed light on the facts, not come up with a wild hypothesis. Are you actually saying you have any facts to support she owed anyone money, or you're just guessing?
I am just guessing, but I'm saying that if she did owe somebody money, they didn't take it when it was found in her wallet.
No facts support that. As a matter of fact, facts support the exact opposite. Listen.
Amber Berbillia's mother, Michelle, says the murder simply happened to the wrong person, saying, quote, Amber was a social butterfly. She had friends from school. She had friends from work. She put herself through school. Her mother says she was looking through some of Amber's bills and papers and finds her daughter doesn't owe anything to anybody. All of her bills were up to date, and she paid off all of her student loans.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app where you can get
Exactly. A lot of art classes, costume design. Yes. Yes.
get all of our content where we, in our own way, seek justice.
The 23-year-old hit in the face twice with a blunt object, so hard that investigators believed she was shot.
What more do we know about the scene that can shed light on her murder? Listen.
Investigation into the murder of Amber Berbiglia is difficult from the first hours. There are no witnesses to describe hearing or seeing anything. There was no robbery as her phone, keys, and wallet were left untouched. The keys are still in the ignition and the car is running, but the suspect doesn't use the car to get away from the scene.
It sounds to me like a crime of opportunity. Now, Alexis Tereshchuk, I just attacked you.
Again, that's why I feel like the person went up this route right here. Nope, they left everything. It wasn't a robbery. They were able to get out with no witnesses, nobody noticing anything. Nothing. And I really feel like they walked up this and literally just hopped over that railing and started walking down that road.
About your claim that this young girl, about to graduate college, heading to London to become a costume designer, a few weeks away from her wedding to the man of her dreams, they're moving together, that she owed somebody money. She's one of the few in the country, along with me, that paid off all her student loans. This woman did not owe money. What I was expecting you to describe, Alexis Tereshchuk, is video surveillance. What can you tell me about video surveillance of Amber just before her death?
So first she's seen paying her cable bill. That is on video. The video has not been released by the police. After that, she goes to the gas station. That video has been released. She's wearing black pants, leopard print shirt. She has cute little glasses on. Then, so the police took the video. They went all up and down this highway and they found video of her car. And in it, she's by herself. She's driving her car. She turns a corner. They lose sight of her for about half an hour. Half an hour later, her car comes back around. She is driving. There appears to be a passenger in the seat. From the video, what has been described is that this passenger appeared to be a dark person. It may have been a black man in the car with her. This is what was seen. And then we don't see them again. And mere minutes later, within an hour or so, she is murdered on the side of the road. But there is no evidence of this person at the crime scene that we have seen.
Okay, let me understand something, Alexis Tereshchuk. She goes off video cam. Okay, What kind of video was it? Was it a store? Was it a red light? Do we know what kind of video cam it was?
We do not know what kind. I think it was like said they searched on the highway, so it might have been one of the interstate video cameras.
Yeah. Okay. It sees her turn off the roadway onto a side street. She's alone. When she comes back onto the roadway from that side street, there is, we believe to be, a male in the car with her in the front seat, correct?
Correct. And you cannot.
Do we know what is... Go ahead.
He appears to be a black male from the video.
Amanda, what have you been told about the video?
Exactly what she just said, just that they have video of her on the street, stopping to pay her cable bill, and then she goes onto a side street and comes back, but I don't know. And that there was somebody in the car with her when she comes back onto the highway. But I don't know what street or the area. I'm not familiar with the area.
We understand that the cameras were those installed along the roadway, Alexis Tereshchuk. You're right about that. Michelle Robinson, Amber's mom, were you ever told what is down the street, or did you investigate what was down the street, why she went there?
Yes, and I saw that video, and to me, it was a shadow. It was not a person. I went to the police station, and it did not appear to be a black person or anybody. It was just a shadow, maybe an arm, not even visible to be an arm. They're saying that it was a black person, maybe. To me, it looked like just a shadow. No clear indication of a person.
Okay, so she saw the video. She says to her, it just looked like a shadow. Now, what's interesting is that they released the gas station footage, but they didn't release the Time Warner cable footage. Now, they said that there was somebody that acted aggressive in the background, but maybe it was just somebody that was frustrated about the bill or frustrated about the line or frustrated how long it took. They don't know. But the interesting thing is why not release paying the cable footage? Very interesting.
Is law enforcement telling you they believe it's a person?
Yes.
Okay. So they believe it's a person. You believe it's a shadow, correct?
Yes.
And how quickly, after seeing what they believe is a person in the car with her, is she killed?
Within a half hour.
What do we know about defensive wounds? Listen.
The mother of Amber Berbiglia, Michelle Robinson, says her daughter was hit with something in the head twice, causing 2 skull fractures. She also says Amber did not go down without a fight. According to Robinson, the funeral home suggests putting on a long-sleeve dress for visitation to cover up the bruises and cuts on her arms. According to her mother, Amber Berbiglia put up a good fight.
To Dr. Kendall Crowns joining us out of Fort Worth, Texas. Dr. Crowns, I want to understand something. We earlier heard that we've learned she had a skull fracture, 2 in fact. Could a skull fracture result from a blow from a fist, or would it have to be a blunt object?
So your skull can fracture from a punch, depending on how much force is put behind the punch, where you're hitting your face. The bones of the skull in these areas are easily fractured, but from a punch, you can break the nose, you can break the orbital rims. But the type of injuries that are being described to me sounds more like a heavy blunt object, like a pipe or a hammer, because
right, a heavy object. And if the funeral home is discussing long sleeves, then that means that they weren't just going to show the arms, they were going to show her face too. That's what tells me that the injuries were in the back of the head. Okay. That's what tells me the injuries were in the back of the head. Now, I'm going to learn more as we dig more into this case and I have more conversations. But that's what it tells me. It's in the back. In the back means it was a surprise. I just go back to other cases that I've covered or dug into, and it makes me think of somebody like the Craigslist killer where, hey, it's right up there. They slip behind him real quick, and next thing you know, kaboom, kaboom. So if they're going to discuss long sleeves for the funeral home, they're not just going to show her arms, right? That's why I feel like the injuries were in the back of the head. It was a surprise attack.
You're not going to see the extensive injuries that look like a gunshot wound unless it's something that you can put a lot of force behind, causing major fractures of the skull.
This is where I'm going, Dr. Kendall Crowns, and I want to follow up with you about how many veins, how venous the face is that would produce a lot of bleeding to resemble a gunshot wound. But we're talking about potential fractures. We're talking about whether a weapon was used. She was off camera, Dr. Kendall Crowns, for about 30 minutes. The highway cam, what we've learned was a highway cam, sees her going down the highway, the roadway. She turns off into the side street, Dr. Kendall Crowns. She's not seen for 30 minutes. When she comes back on camera, Dr. Crowns, according to law enforcement, there is a male sitting in her front seat. Within an hour, she's dead.
Okay. That's why I feel when you go back to the route. All right. Let me take out the funeral home real quick. When you go back to the route, okay, seen on camera, paying the cable bill, seen on traffic camera, Highway 17, stopping at the gas station. But the reason why I feel like they lost her, okay, from 4 to 4:25 p.m., the reason I feel like they lost her is because she then went up Highway 22, exited onto 31, went down 31, got caught on camera, somewhere around here, maybe right here, got caught on camera, came down Robert Edge Parkway, went down Old Sanders Road, and then ended up, let me move this over here, and then ended up right there. I feel that's why they couldn't see her, because if she did go back up, because you can go back up 17, right? Listen, you can go back up, you can get gas, you can go stop and get your friend, and you can go back up 17 to then cross the bridge and go this way. But she wasn't caught on camera a whole bunch of times for that half hour. That's why I feel like she took 31 and went back up.
I'm trying to figure out, was a weapon used? And if so, what weapon? It seems to me that's the guy we need to be looking for. Now, Dr. Kendall Crowns, 2 fractures to the skull. If the fractures were, can a skull fracture be to the front of the face, or does it have to be, say, from the eyebrows back? What, with the nose, the mouth, the cheeks, would that be the skull? Is that considered the skull?
So yeah, again, the skull can be any portion of this, could be a skull fracture. So facial skull here, nose, cheek, side of head, where your ear would be, can also be considered a skull fracture. So any of that can be considered a skull fracture in the description.
And even the back of the skull can be considered a skull fracture. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Dr. Kendall Crowns, it looked like a gunshot wound. It was that bad. Would there be more bleeding if the attack was to the venous area in the mouth and the nose and the eyes? They bleed so profusely.
So your head actually has a lot of vascularity to it. Your nose, your face, even your scalp has a tremendous amount of vasculature. So anytime there's injuries to the facial or head area, there is always going to be a lot of bleeding. It doesn't matter what exactly the area is. If it's part of the head, it'll bleed quite profusely.
Horry County Police Detective Jonathan Martin says Amber Berbiglia's body is found along Old Sanders Road under the Robert Edge Parkway overpass. There are no witnesses on scene. Although the injuries to her face appeared to be gunshot wounds, the coroner reveals that Amber Berbiglia wasn't shot as previously thought. She was beaten to death, and cause of death is blunt force trauma.
First responders find a female victim laying outside her still running car. Injuries to her face are so severe, at first glance, it appears she has been shot in the face. The woman has died before help arrives, and no witnesses are around to provide any context for what has taken place. Investigators find the victim's purse inside the car with money still in it and rule out robbery as a motive. They also find the victim's identification, Amber Berbiglia.
Hey, Mom, I just wanted to call and tell you I love you. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. I love you. Good night. A mother cherishes the last voicemail from her daughter.
Alexis Tereszchuk, if LE, law enforcement, is correct, that could very well be her killer caught on video. So I'm trying to learn more about that. Alexis, was the car fully processed for DNA and fingerprints?
The police have said that they've investigated all of it. They have never released a suspect's name. They've never released any information saying they're looking for a suspect. And even so, they could run this through, if there was DNA anywhere found, they could run it through one of the genealogy sites and maybe get a match on somebody else, but they have never released any information about that.
Back to Dr. Kendall Crowns. I'm still on the skull fracture. And the reason I'm asking Dr. Crowns is I'm trying to determine if you or someone like you.
Which is a question. Why not release that information, right? If you have cell phone records, why do you think this person sent like letters in the mail? No, they didn't send letters in the mail. Why hasn't somebody been questioned? Why isn't somebody a person of interest? You have the cell phone, you have the records. They would have had, unless it's some kind of secret app. I don't understand. Just a thought. Could it have been someone with blue light pretending to be? It could be. That's the thing. We don't know. Now, law enforcement believes there was a person in the passenger seat vehicle. But we don't know. There's been such little information put out. We don't know. And I'm going to be trying to learn more. Ariel, I think whoever did it has connection to Ellie, struggling to find any other reason no one has been charged here or questioned. This right here, the cell phone was right next to her hand. They would have had to call or text, hey.
Hey mom, I just wanted to call and tell you I love you. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. I love you. Good night. A mother cherishes the last voicemail from her daughter.
Alexis Tereszchuk, if LE, law enforcement, is correct, that could very well be her killer caught on video. So I'm trying to learn more about that. Alexis, was the car fully processed for DNA and fingerprints?
The police have said that they've investigated all of it. They have never released a suspect's name. They've never released any information saying they're looking for a suspect.
Nothing.
And even so, they could run this through, if there was DNA anywhere found, they could run it through one of the genealogy sites and maybe get a match on somebody else, but they have never released any information about that.
So we don't even know. We don't even know if they ran the DNA or not. Isn't that crazy? I know what you're saying, Ariel. Trust me. I've been basically staying in Myrtle Beach for the most part since May. Trust me. I would love to be able to have a van, just to live out of my van and just live from location to location. Eventually, I'd like to just ditch the house and really just live in the van. Just ditch the house. And we'll do that. We'll do that walkthrough here just in a few short minutes.
Back to Dr. Kendall Crowns. I'm still on the skull fracture. And the reason I'm asking Dr. Crowns is...
And if you are new to the channel, go to the video section. I've uploaded GoPro and Samsung HD videos for you guys. And if you are a member, there are some members only videos for you as well. On this case, I'm going to get more footage. We're going to be digging into more facts. We're going to be bringing more awareness for Amber.
So I'm trying to determine if you or someone like you, another medical examiner, would be able to tell if she was beaten with, let's just say, was she pistol whipped? Was she attacked?
Shoot, Beach Bell, if I just have to play the lottery, but if I win the lottery, I'm going to have a big ass, like tour bus looking van where, yeah, it's going to be a home on wheels. That's just, I wish I could ditch, because I barely even live here. I wish I could just ditch the home and live in a camper or something, you know?
With a pipe. If we could figure out from her injuries,
anyway.
What was the murder weapon? What was the type of murder weapon? A hammer, for peace sake, like Dr. Teresa Seaver. You can look at the wound sometimes and you can determine what type of weapon was used. Isn't that true?
That's correct. So with blunt force injuries, there can be patterns that are left by the weapon. Pipes can leave like what we call tram track type bruising, where you see bruising on either side of the wound. Hammers actually leave kind of circular or kind of almost Mercedes-Benz type symbol lesions as well that can be mistaken for gunshot wounds. It just depends what the object is, but
Or the butt of a gun. I really feel like the butt of a gun could make those type of injuries too. You know, you hit somebody hard enough and it splits, it splits their head, and you hit them again. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
but it can leave pattern injuries. Well, the fist doesn't usually, but other objects can. So you can get kind of an impression of it based on what the wounds look like.
If this was not to the nose or the facial area and it left skull fractures, this was not done with a fist. That tells me the person that got in her car, the man in her car, had some sort of a weapon. Was it a pipe? Was it a hammer? Was it a gun used to pistol whip her? I don't know. But I do believe Barry Hutchinson Sr. joining me, Private Eye Chief Investigator for Barry and Associates Investigative.
I really feel, look, if she went down this road, they probably did have a pistol. They probably did have a pistol. And maybe she knew at that point. And you're right. Maybe she did get out and run. They chased her down, tackled her, and then that's when they got her in the back. They probably did have a gun, and they probably did use the butt of the weapon. And if she did get out and run, I could see that person chasing her, tackling her, face first into the ground. Right, Ariel. That's why I don't think she just went down there to go down the road. I really feel like you go down that road, you know what I'm saying? Poor lady.
Services in Kansas and Missouri, Barry, we say that statistics teach us you look first at those closest to her, and that would be the fiance. It's not the fiance. I've already investigated it myself. He's ruled out. He has a rock solid alibi. He was in Europe at the time. No question. It's not him. But I'm very interested in your theory about a romantic interest. She worked, as her mom just told us, at a very high-end restaurant. Who was watching her? Who was sitting at the bar watching her every move? Who could have been obsessed with her? Because, Barry, I'm very torn right now. Did she give some random guy a ride and he attacked her? Because nobody can identify who this person is. Or is it someone that had been watching her and she agreed to give him a ride? The fact that we know it's not a robbery, we know it's not a sex assault. We know that it's in broad daylight. So who would have been so bold to attack this beautiful young co-ed just a couple of weeks away from her wedding? I really want to hear your thoughts, Barry.
The police have the ability, they know a timeline of her disappearing for 30 minutes or so. You know, there are elements that they can use to investigate too, like her vehicle. I don't know if her vehicle was equipped with OnStar. I don't know if she had her cell phone with her. I'm assuming she did. I think in the earlier conversation you said that she had her cell phone with her.
Yes, she did.
This car right here, any of you sleuthers out there, do me a favor, screenshot this. Find out what vehicle it is. Find out if it has OnStar capabilities. We'll be doing another show here in a couple days. We'll be doing more work here coming up soon as well. Let me know if this vehicle did have OnStar capabilities. That is a good question. Let me know.
That phone can also be pinged, and they could find out where she was in that immediate area that she went missing for those 30 minutes. And then at that point, what I would do is just good old-fashioned police work. I would canvass that area door to door, find out anybody and everybody in that area that has a criminal record.
There's not and that's the thing. And I'm going to take you guys back here to 2012. I'm going to walk around, show you the area. When it does come to this area back then, there really isn't anything around there. There's really one house, maybe two, that you could go to the door. But when you're looking at where she was found, where the vehicle was found, where they're located, the surroundings of the area at the time, like I said earlier when we did the walk around from back then, maybe somebody that lived at that house over there heard what they thought was an argument, or, a lady screaming real quick. Because I feel like she made noise. The bruises and the scratches on the hands make me feel like she was tackled from behind. She went face first. They probably struggled with her arms to get him in a position where almost like you would put cuffs on somebody, and they probably had their knee on her back over her arms behind her. And then they probably used their hands to commit the crime. That's where I feel like maybe the bruises and the scratches from the hands came from, was when she fell forward. The struggle for the person to get her arms behind her back so they could put their knee on her and use their hands to commit the crime. We'll take you through that walkthrough in a minute here. It's almost done.
Anybody that could match, theoretically, the type of crime that was committed, if they have a history of that. Look for people that just got out of the penitentiary. Look for people that have that kind of a vicious background or violent background, and see if I could come up with a list of viable subjects that could be possible suspects. It just does not make sense to me that a young lady like this would get out of her vehicle and have a confrontation with somebody in a remote area where she's not safe and not know that person. It just does not add up to me at all. I think that, again, I'm going to stick with my idea that it's somebody that she's familiar with. And I think that it's somebody that probably had an interest in her that she just did not reciprocate because she was very happy with who she was with.
Amber Berbiglia is originally from New York, but calls South Carolina.
We do not know, Nikki. We just know basically what they keep repeating in this episode over and over. And other than that, it has not been released.
Home now. She is a college student at Horry Georgetown Technical College with designs on becoming a costume designer. Studying abroad in London for part of her education, she meets Jose Tolsar and comes back home in love. After 2 years of dating, Amber and Jose make plans to marry weeks after she graduates from college, and that time is fast approaching.
Years later, and still no suspects. Her family deserves closure. What happened to Amber Berbiglia?
When you don't know where to go, you start over and you look at who is your victim. Listen.
Amber Berbiglia is originally from New York, but calls South Carolina home now. She is a college student at Horry Georgetown Technical College with designs on becoming a costume designer. Studying abroad in London for part of her education, she meets Jose Tolsar and comes back home in love. After 2 years of dating, Amber and Jose make plans to marry weeks after she graduates from college, and that time is fast approaching.
What more do we know? Listen.
At age 23, Amber Berbiglia doesn't live at home, but talks to her mother daily. When one of her calls to her mother isn't answered, Amber leaves a message for her mother. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. I love you. Good night.
Oh, my stars. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. I love you. Good night. A message she leaves her mom. And joining me right now is Amber's mother, Michelle Robinson. Miss Robinson, I almost hated to say those words back because I know it's like a knife to your heart to hear that rhyme, that message she left to you, that little poem. But I want to ask you about the facts. We keep saying she went to go pay a cable bill, but there was something very probative about her paying the cable bill. Have you been informed about the video from inside the Time Warner cable office where she paid her bill that
while she's in there, there is a man standing behind her, staring at her, and it's been described as in an aggressive manner. But it's my understanding, Ms. Robinson, that the guy, for all I know, he's angry about having to wait in line, has been investigated thoroughly and he has been cleared.
But
Correct?
nobody knows if anybody's been questioned. They have not released. They released the gas station video. They have not released the paying the cable video. So a man acting in an aggressive manner, haven't released the video. There's been no suspects named. Why wouldn't you release the picture of the photo so then people can go, oh, I know that person? You could go to Time Warner Cable and ask them who paid this bill, who was in the, if they did go to the counter. But if they were standing behind her, acting in an aggressive manner, and then left with her without doing anything in the store, well, then you could say that too, and you could release the photo. Why wasn't a photo released then? If they weren't a suspect, did you talk to them already? They would be a suspect, a person of interest. They haven't even been named. Nobody has been even mentioned as a person of interest. Doesn't make sense.
That's what I was told.
To Karen Ritchie joining us, Amber's best friend, and to her sister, Amanda Berbiglia. Amanda, was there anything else happening in her life that she seemed disturbed about or worried about that you know of?
No, not at all. Just a couple weeks before she was killed, she came to visit me for Easter. I had some things I had to take care of, so she had come to take care of my daughters while I was away. And then when I came home, we spent Easter Sunday together before she went back home, and she didn't mention at all anything.
Nothing at all. Would she have told you if she was worried about someone or something?
Yeah, we were pretty close. She used to call me all the time, but she would have made me aware if there was something.
See, that's why I don't feel like it was somebody hanging out, ordering water for 4 hours where she worked. That's why I keep going back to the thing where people would be like, yeah, I always thought that person was a little strange. But they're no harm. They're no harm. They're no harm. She's that close with her sister. She's going to mention if she has a stalker. She's going to mention if somebody is acting, in an aggressive way. Won't leave her alone. Keeps following her. Keeps showing up at where she works. She had to have considered this person a friend. They didn't. I mean, think about it, ladies. When you're dealing with dudes, how many dudes are out there with ulterior motives? He's no harm. That's who I feel did the crime. He's no harm. He was a little weird. He's just no harm. She thought he was no harm until the last moments.
Bothering her.
Alexis Tereszczuk, crimeonline.com. Where does the case stand right now?
The case is still open. There have been no suspects released to the public. There's been
Nothing.
Nobody arrested for it. Nothing. The police have not given any leads as to what anybody should look for. They have not said anything. They've never identified publicly a murder weapon at all.
Nothing.
So this is a case that is still very open, and still all of the evidence has not been released, and they're still looking for the murderers or murderer.
To ease their broken hearts, Amber's family erected a memorial. Photos, mementos, flowers underneath the freeway overpass where she lost her life. They've also set up a website with information about her murder, justiceforamber.org. Repeat, justiceforamber.org. If you know, or even think you know anything about the murder of this beautiful young co-ed, please call toll-free
888 crime SC 888-274-6372 888-274-6372. There is a $6,000 reward for information leading to the discovery of the facts behind the murder of Amber Berbiglia. We stop now to remember an American hero, Corporal Brandon Schreiber, Newton County Sheriff's, Indiana, just 32, shot and killed in the line of duty, leaving behind a grieving wife, Caitlin, and children, Seth and Paisley. American hero, Corporal Brandon Schreiber. Thank you to all of our guests joining us tonight. Nancy Grace signing off. I'll see you tomorrow night, 6 and 9 o'clock sharp Eastern.
I don't. And thank you, Nancy Grace. Let me see here. Did she live on campus? Had roommates? I think that was the area. I wonder if if the suspect professed their love to her in the car. She declined. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Jennifer. I'm gonna listen. Like I said, when I first came across this, and when I went there, and I was like, all of this stuff just started flooding into my head. I feel like if I dig into the university, the class, I feel like this person went to class with her. It could be a coworker. It probably was somebody that worked with her and went to class with her. But I really feel like there's something in the university records, and we're gonna be digging into those here coming up. There's got to be something. Now, 11 years later, this is the sad part. 11 years has gone by. 11 years has gone by. So when it comes to answers, it might be tough. I wish I was doing what I'm doing now back then, and it was right after. But we're going to do everything that we can to try and help bring justice for Amber. Like I said, I got a bunch of videos for you guys posted. And you guys can check out with absolute clarity. There's something. Trust me, I'm gonna keep digging. I'm gonna have some conversations coming up here in a couple days that's gonna be really beneficial. I'm gonna be doing some work here soon for Amber's case that I feel is gonna be very beneficial. And we're gonna try everything we can to try and figure out, because no answers 11 years later. All of the stuff that you guys have heard today, all the stuff that you guys have seen today, there had to be something. There is something. There's crumbs that are out there that are left behind. And together with your help and us doing this together, me going out there boots on the ground to do that part, you guys doing your part, we can help. We can definitely help. All right, so here's the walk around from 2012. Okay, just to give you an idea of the lay of the land. Now, it's a lot of trees. The road is overgrown. It doesn't even have an edge at that moment. Okay, so it does look a lot different. When you go to last year, see the difference? Humongous difference, okay? Humongous difference. So let's go back to 2012. This is what the path looked like. This is what it looked like a couple years ago. Big difference. Okay, big difference. Here's what it looked like back then. Okay. Now you saw the picture from here. You see how muddy it is. So you know that it's pretty similar to, it's basically right before. This is August 2012. The crime took place in May of 2013, so it's not that far away. It basically, this is what it looked like at the time. Now I'm going to show you another difference here. Okay, so here is 2012. Excuse me. Here's 2012. Covered up, covered up. There's no business over here. There's just a little, there's just like a little, I don't know what you call that. It's not a gazebo, but it's trying to pretend to be one. A shelter. You got some, some agriculture and stuff going on, just empty field. You go down here, it's pretty much covered up. This is why I'm saying if you come back to this driveway, there's a few more houses behind there. But if you come back to this driveway, it's pretty much covered, especially when you're talking about the body being way over here. And so that's why I'm thinking like somebody probably did hear like a scream or something, but they were way back here. And maybe everything happened so quick, all she could do was scream once or twice. And then it was quiet, and somebody was like, oh, huh. Maybe it was just somebody on the interstate or something. Who knows? But when it comes to the way that the area looked back in 2012, it's not like you can go door to door. There's basically a door over there. Now, did they get talked to? I would hope that they did, but we don't know. It definitely is odd. There are really no answers. It's very. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. When I come across cases and I'm like, that don't make no sense at all, that's when we start digging into it. Just like Micah. We'll be having a Micah show here later tonight, 7:30 Eastern. So basically, when we come back over here, 2012. As you keep going back, that's what it looks like. And then that's where the vehicle ended up. It's just sad. Want to say thank you all for hanging out this morning, early afternoon. Appreciate it very much. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Like I said, we're going to be going through Micah stuff tonight. Reverend Millie Joy, shout out to her. She did an interview on Fitz News and discussed a lot of the stuff that's going on. When it comes to a lot of the toxicity that's out there, and unfortunately it's from a few individuals that actually reside in that area. And the stuff is happening to the protesters. I heard Allie has quit the protest again. She has deactivated her TikTok, and it's sad because the people that are attacking us are the same people, and have been this whole time, are the same people that are attacking us still. And it's sad to hear that one of the biggest voices had to back away because of her own trauma and the trolls that create the trauma that a lot of these victims go through when this stuff takes place. You know what I mean? It's a sad thing. So when you're hearing Reverend Millie Joy talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on, the group stalking, the harassment, and and she's talking about the stuff that's taken place. She's talking about Allie and Melissa, you know? So we're going to be going through that tonight. We're going to be discussing that. And it's just sad. It's it should be about justice for Micah, and it continues to be about agendas with certain individuals. And it's just sad. The sad thing is the family has to see these other communities slander and defame with no receipts off of any of the information that they're giving you. And they're using Micah's name as a backdrop for their hate and their spew. And just because of jealousy. It's sad. It's sad. It's a sad day today. We will see you later this evening though, 7:30 Eastern. I'll have a notification out here shortly. And please come hang back out and listen to the conversation that we're going to have. I invited a couple people to come on if they wanted to. They're more than welcome. But we'll be going through that. We'll also be going through Sebastian Rogers stuff. I'll be working on that case for a few days. We're going to go in through some of that as well. So we'll probably have a Sebastian show tomorrow during the daytime, and probably another Micah show in the evening, or flip it around and do Micah in the day and Sebastian in the evening. I'm not sure yet, but this won't be, we'll be having another episode for Amber here in a couple days as well. We got a lot of work to do for Amber and Micah coming up as well, going out on location. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. I will see you back here later this evening. Have a peaceful, positive afternoon. Get yourself a snack, because I'm about to. And we'll see you later on. Thank you. Appreciate you. Please be safe. And I love you all.